A cold autumn breeze swept through the city's largest public park as parents watched their children laugh beneath colorful trees. The playground echoed with joyful voices, the sound of swings creaking through the crisp afternoon air, and the cheerful chatter of families enjoying a peaceful weekend. Not everyone there had come to play. 36-year-old Michael Reeves sat quietly on a weathered wooden bench, wearing a faded navy blue work shirt, worn jeans, and old work boots stained with grease from another long morning at his neighborhood garage. Beside him sat his 8-year-old son, Noah. The boy carefully held 2 paper cups of hot chocolate. One was for himself. The other was for someone who hadn't arrived yet. Every Saturday after work, Michael and Noah came to this park for the same reason. Not because they had money to spend, but because Michael believed the greatest gifts in life didn't cost anything. "You ready?" Michael asked with a smile. Noah nodded excitedly. "I hope he comes today." "So do I." A few minutes later, a small wheelchair appeared along the walking path. Sitting in it was 7-year-old Owen Whitfield. Bright brown eyes, tousled dark hair, a warm smile that never seemed to disappear despite the challenges he faced every day. Pushing the wheelchair was his elderly grandmother, Eleanor. Owen had been born with a condition that limited the use of his legs, making every outing more difficult than most people could imagine. Still, he greeted everyone with kindness. "There they are," Noah shouted happily. Owen laughed. "You remembered." Noah carefully handed him the second cup of hot chocolate. "Of course, it's Saturday." Michael smiled as the children began talking like lifelong friends. Several weeks earlier, Noah had noticed Owen sitting alone while other children played nearby. Without hesitation, he had walked over and introduced himself. Since then, every Saturday had become their special tradition. Michael quietly watched with pride. He wasn't raising a perfect child. He was raising a compassionate one. Across the park, a sleek black luxury SUV slowly stopped near the entrance. A distinguished man stepped out wearing a tailored charcoal gray suit. His name was Richard Whitfield. He was one of the country's youngest billionaires, the founder of a global technology company worth billions of dollars. Very few people recognized him without the television cameras. Today, he preferred it that way. Richard had returned unexpectedly from an overseas business trip after learning that his son insisted on visiting the park with his grandmother every Saturday. He had been absent too often, too many meetings, too many flights, too many promises of next weekend. Quietly, he followed at a distance, not wanting to interrupt Owen's happiness. What he saw immediately caught his attention. Instead of feeling isolated, his son was laughing, really laughing. Richard hadn't heard that sound in months. He watched Noah push Owen's wheelchair carefully toward the edge of the playground. Michael walked beside them. Suddenly, Noah stopped. "Dad, I wish Owen could go on the swings." Michael looked at the playground thoughtfully. Most of the equipment wasn't designed for children using wheelchairs. Many parents simply accepted that reality. Michael didn't. He slowly examined the swing set. After a few moments, he removed the clean work straps he always carried in his toolbox. Carefully, patiently, using only simple materials already available nearby. And with Eleanor's permission, he created a temporary support that allowed Owen to sit safely on the wide swing while he personally held and stabilized it the entire time. "You ready?" Michael asked gently. Owen looked nervous. "Never been on a swing before." Michael smiled. "Then today sounds like the perfect day." With slow, careful movements, he gently pushed the swing. Owen's eyes widened. Then he laughed. Not a polite laugh, a joyful laugh that echoed across the entire playground. Higher, a little higher. The autumn wind tousled his hair as he smiled brighter than anyone there had seen before. Eleanor quietly wiped tears from her eyes. She had waited 7 years to hear that laugh. Nearby parents stopped what they were doing. Some smiled. Others quietly applauded. Richard stood frozen beneath the trees. No reporter, no expensive doctor, no celebrity fundraiser had ever given his son a moment like this. A simple mechanic had, without expecting recognition, without asking for money, without even knowing who he was. After several minutes, Michael gently stopped the swing. "How was your first flight?" Owen grinned from ear to ear. "It was amazing." He suddenly hugged Michael. "Thank you." Michael hugged him gently. "Very welcome, kiddo." Richard felt something shift inside him. For years, he had believed every problem could be solved with wealth. Yet the happiest moment in his son's life had come from kindness, not money. As the afternoon came to an end, Eleanor thanked Michael again. "You've given him something priceless." Michael smiled. "He gave us something too." "What?" A reason to smile. Richard quietly walked back toward his vehicle before anyone noticed him. His assistant looked confused. "Sir." Richard kept watching Michael from a distance. "I've spent millions trying to improve my son's life." He paused. "And today, a mechanic accomplished what money couldn't." Back at the garage later that evening, Michael closed the doors after another long day of work. Business was slow. Bills were piling up. He wondered how he would afford Noah's school trip next month. Still, he smiled because he knew one little boy had gone home happier than he arrived. At that exact moment, Richard Whitfield sat alone in his penthouse office overlooking the city's skyline. On his desk rested a single photograph his security team had quietly taken that afternoon. It showed Michael gently pushing Owen on the swing, while Noah laughed beside them. Richard picked up his phone. "I want every piece of information you can find on Michael Reeves." His assistant hesitated. "Are we offering him a donation?" Richard slowly shook his head. "No, I'm offering him something far bigger." Outside the office windows, the city lights stretched endlessly into the night. Michael had no idea that the billionaire whose son he had helped had just made a decision that would change the future of his family forever.